Ya pues llegó el doctor buscándome, preguntando por aquí quién se llamaba Luis Sánchez o la persona que tiene síndrome de Laron, o digamos pequeñito, porque no sabía que la enfermedad se llamaba síndrome de Laron en sí. Tengo una ventaja y una desventaja, dijo. La desventaja es el tamaño, ¿no es cierto? Y la ventaja es que dicen que soy una persona especial porque llevo algo en mi sangre que puede ayudar a los demás.
My name is Jaime Guevara, and I am in the terrace of my home in here in Quito. This is Quito in Ecuador. What I do is I am a physician working in diabetes and cancer. We are trying to clarify the minute details that lead all the humanity to get diabetes and cancer. No se mueven. As in inches. Centimeters and inches.
In fact, even today, many people says, what are they doing? What are they studying? What is interesting about these people?
The most important, for me, for Jaime Guevara, the most important phenomenon in this is that these guys lack the counter-regulation of growth hormone, therefore, they are protected against diabetes, and maybe that explains also the protection against cancer. Póngase derechita. Está con mucha grasa usted.
Pero si he bajado de peso.
Estás con mucha grasa. This thing measures fat, and she has a lot of fat. Okay. Párese derechita. Tienes mucha grasa. Uf. Vamos. Okay.
Pero sí estaba más gorda.
I discovered this population at around 1987. In 1994, I started noticing that and it bothers me from the beginning, these guys were obese, have a lot of body fat. Nonetheless, the first thing I noticed, these guys don't have diabetes. I'm basically an adult diabetologist. And so I said, wait a minute, why are these guys not getting diabetes? And I got interested in diabetes first, before cancer. Much before cancer, I got interested in diabetes. I saw Maritza Valareso for the first time, July the 20, 1992. She was 3 years and 9 months of age. I can tell you what she likes to eat. I can tell everything on her, okay? I can say the exam she got. I have her x-rays. I have even his nutritional evaluation, and I have her pictures in here. Yeah.
Yummy.
Well, Laron syndrome is a disease of growth. The most important characteristics of these syndromes are these subjects are very short, and they have an excess of growth hormone. Growth hormone comes from your brain here, from the pituitary. Growth hormone goes to the liver, binds to a receptor, and produces a hormone that's called IGF-1. It is IGF-1 make you grow. In the case of Laron syndrome, the receptor in the liver is distorted. Therefore, IGF-1 is not produced. So we have the clinical paradox, short stature with very high growth hormone. That's the most important thing. Low IGF-1, the cells in a sense. Let me explain you how it is. So, when IGF-1 is low, there's more apoptosis. Now, what is apoptosis? Apoptosis is programmed cell death, cell suicide. Malignant clones commit suicide when apoptosis occurs. For diabetes, growth hormone produces elevation of glucose, okay? Because growth hormone is not active, the normal insulin, the hormone that lowers glucose, is more active. So we have the explanation for the cancer and for diabetes in very, very brief terms. I have never been disappointed. I know that new ideas are never accepted. So, to tell you the truth, the fact that I was not heard, it was, of course, disappointing, but at the same time, I said, this is a correct idea. So I'm going to keep it presenting until somebody listens to it. And to me, I said, how in the world people don't see it? It was so simple, it was so straightforward. These people, in my opinion, is very important for science for a couple of reasons. In the first place, there's about 350 patients in the world, and there's about 150 patients in Ecuador. Some of these guys, and here, and there, and up there, I have all of them. They appear to be a very small cohort, but once again, the Laron syndrome, the GHRDs, represent 1/3 of the world's population with this condition. The number of people is small, but they represent enormous amounts of people in each one of these cohorts.
Las personas que tienen el síndrome de Laron están en diferentes sitios. Como ayer que encontramos los dos, no están situadas en un mismo lugar, digamos aquí en Piñas. Han de haber unos, qué sé yo, 3 o 4 personas. Gracias. Gracias. Ya le pago, mi señora, ¿sí? Gracias. O sea, llegar a alguna cura sobre el cáncer y la diabetes, si es que hay alguna cura entre alguno de nosotros o entre todos nosotros, mejor, es mucho mejor, o sea, habría la posibilidad de curar a mucha gente. Digamos, si yo tengo que colaborar con la investigación, ¿no? Pero no es una misión, sino que, digamos, casi es un deber ayudar a los demás.
Yeah, she's Carolina. She's Carolina, and she's my assistant in the field. She's a young physician, and she's learning how to do research in the field. A few days ago, I learned about these 2 new patients. We don't know if those patients are real, if they have the syndrome or not. See if they really have the syndrome, and then decide what to do.
I have get used so much to work with Luis Sanchez, and he has found many other patients. I do the diagnosis as a physician, but he's the one that gets in contact with them. Nosotros nos conocimos, ¿qué años sería? 80 y... No, pues tenía 20 años usted.
Más o menos,
20
sí.
años, o sea...
Bueno, en ese entonces pensaba que como todo el mundo decía que había la posibilidad de desarrollar otro poquito más, pues dije, si hay la oportunidad de que pueda desarrollar otro poquito más, o sea, de estatura, hubiera sido magnífico. Pero pues usted ya con el paso del tiempo nos fue explicando de que ya que era mayor de edad y tanta cosa y no había la posibilidad de desarrollar.
Yeah.
Y ya me dediqué a ayudarle a usted, pues. Eso fue todo.
He decided to help. He started looking for new patients. He decided to help in the project, searching for new patients, helping me in the field. And that's what he has been doing until today. Freddy.
Más chiquita era la mía.
Chito.
Mijo, hola, buenos días.
¿Qué fue, ñaño?
Ahí
¿Qué
está.
cuentas?
Todo bien.
¿Cuál te gusta de las dos de las muchachas más o ambas? Podría salir con Freddy a tomarse una cervecita.
A mí me pasa invitando, pero es tantito.
Empezamos el estudio casi a la par con el doctor Jaime, que él decía, Luis, quiero que ayudes a contactar a tal persona que vive en tal lado, ve a buscarlo, ¿no? Y ya encontramos dos nuevos, allá en Salatí encontramos dos personas así con síndrome de Laron.
Oh yeah, nobody wanted to know. In the beginning, the first time that I took them to the States, people said, well, this guy is taking this, he's going to kidnap these guys, he's going to make a circus out of it, they said that I was going to sell their organs, you know, many crazy things.
Y a veces que se incluía la Carito, jamás dudé del trabajo que hacíamos nosotros porque lo estábamos realizando muy bien. Pero había mucha gente escéptica, digamos, ¿no? que siempre dudó del equipo que teníamos y siempre creo que me estaba hablando de que sí, que no hacemos las cosas bien, que por qué se tardaron tanto y en fin, tantas cosas que han dicho.
Yeah. Piñas is the city with the largest concentrations of patients with Laron syndrome in the world. When I came here, there was only the church out there, and from that church there were two streets. In this area, it's rich in gold. That the Spaniards came, they decided to look for El Dorado, but also came some Jewish people. Some of these Jewish people went to these small villages, going away from the inquisitors, and founded these little towns and start living in isolation. And when isolation comes, there's a lot of inbreeding until these two genes matched and the first person with Laron syndrome was born. That's why there is so much concentration in just a very small area.
We have just found another patient. Is a new patient here. He's 50 years old, a brother and a sister. They live in faraway places. They don't come out as much. They are timid. They are afraid of people, so they never come out much. It's the first time that Dr. Guevara come here and try to explain what he does.
That I see new children every year, but adults are patients that I've been identifying for the last 27 years.
She does not know anymore. She has always stayed here at home making housework. Yes,
And brother?
the same. They don't like to leave.
In the beginning, all of them are very nervous, are really, they doubt from everyone. Oh yeah, in the beginning, all of them were very, very shy. I remember one of the most shy people was precisely Luis Sanchez Romero. I remember in the beginning, he was without any even eye contact. Then we became very good friends, and that we've been friends for a quarter of a century.
This is my first time, part of the first time in a patient's home. It is important for us to keep track of the family trees, of the history, of the lineage of the families.
Verá, ustedes lo que van a hacer es van a sacar saliva Y eso toma bastante tiempo y tienen que llenar hasta aquí de pura saliva. ¿Ok? Entonces, esta saliva de aquí, la saliva es como si fuera la piel o la sangre, tiene ciertas señales que se llaman los genes. Ahí vamos a poder ver. ¿Ok?
For many years, I kept telling my colleagues to let's study this. Nobody paid much attention to it because they said that it was just too small of a cohort, too small of a group to make any conclusions. Still is, but in the year 2005, I was invited by Walter Longo at the University of Southern California to present my findings. Walter is a molecular gerontologist, a molecular biologist studying the aging process.
He has had the same observations, but in yeasts.
We combine the molecular biology from Walter Longo and his teams and the observation that I was doing in the clinical field. And so this combination of the two types of observations that at the end were the same, some in yeasts, some in humans, we came with a possible explanation for the lack of cancer and lack of diabetes. So, but besides that, we proved that the serum of these patients protected cells of genetic damage. I know that these 3 cases will be very valuable. Of course they will be, but I still don't know how. But they will be, that's for sure. That's a certainty. But once again, I need to see all the things in the laboratory first, genetic and biochemistry, then try to understand it. It was unbelievable. It was a coincidence. It was, when they told me new patients, I said, yeah, maybe, yeah. Because I have seen many times they take me to these guys that have dysmorphia or short arms, that are important patients, but they are not Laron. But, or I'm interested in Laron.
And here it's important to notice that this young man, he gets a different disease. I know that he does not have Laron syndrome. In this case, he's disharmonic. He has very short hands, very short legs, and also he's a big head.
There is another type of dwarfism. He's not like Luis. You see, Luis, he has his limbs. He's like a mini person, but really symmetrical.
What I felt yesterday was exactly the same feeling that I got 25, 27 years ago when I saw my first patients. Is the thrill of discovery. If you really see these patients, you feel that you are seeing a marvelous gift for biology, because these guys allowed us to understand many of the molecular mechanisms inside the body.
Más atrás, eso, pega los físicos para atrás.
She's the mother of the patient. Hola, señora.
¿Cómo está?
¿Cómo está aquí? No ve con el compadre Luchi con todos. ¿Qué es de mi Mercy?
Hola, Mercy.
Hola, mi Mercy.
Ven.
Hola, Mercy. ¿Cómo le va? Saludemos a los años. Finja que me quiere.
Sí, porque no me llevó ahorita.
¿Ah?
No la ha llevado a pasear, está resentida que le encontró que se iba a pasear y no la ha
Claro,
llevado.
pero para después tiene que bajar un poco de peso. ¿Ok?
Tratamos, oiga, de bajar de peso y no podemos bajar de peso.
Ya les dije el otro día lo que tienen que hacer, pero solo pasan comiendo arroz.
No comimos poco, comimos,
A ver,
no
¿qué
merendamos.
comió usted de desayuno?
Pescado salado.
¿Con qué? Con arrocitos. ¿Con qué más? ¿Y con
Sí,
yuquita?
pero poquito, no.
No, estoy merendando
No
ahorita.
merendamos.
Sí, pues sí, no come nada. They said, well, we are immune to diabetes and cancer. I keep telling them, the best way to protect fully is, already have this genetic thing, but also have a healthy diet.
Y como a ti te lo enviaron a Lucho para antes de entrar.
Pedí
¿Qué vas a
permiso.
¿Qué bájate
Es el
piña?
cuento.
Ah,
Bájate
Claro,
piña.
empezamos longevidad ahora, ¿no?
hasta piñas.
¿Fecha?
Claro, Zambrano.
Sí.
¿Qué fecha estamos ahora? A ver, fecha de nacimiento de la Mercy.
El
Primero
primero
de marzo de 1945.
65.
65.
Ya me quiere hacer vieja anciana
Más
también.
vieja que mí.
Yo era complejada por mi porte. O sea, yo era hasta más pequeñita. Y yo no salía de mi casa, yo me escondía debajo de la cama. Hasta 3 veces que vinieron los doctores me escondí. Después tanto me dijeron las mujeres de mis tíos y me convencieron y ese fue mi proceso.
Ya puedes, ya. Ahora sí.
Yannick will be 17 this December. Okay, 98. ¿Cuánto estabas, te acuerdas? Yannick is one of the smallest one of all. One of the smallest because he has 2 things. Besides Laron syndrome, the very first years of his life, the very first 12, 13 years of his life, maybe even more, he was a very poor eater. He ate so little. At birth, they are born almost of normal size, but the very classic, during the very first 6 months, they don't grow. They grow very little.
¿Tu escuela?
Sí, esto fue cuando terminamos la escuela. Nos tomamos una foto así como de recuerdo de todos los compañeros, porque si en el colegio nos iban a otros lados, así.
Te falta un año para terminar el colegio, ¿no?
Otro año
¿Y ya sabes qué vas a hacer después de la escuela?
todavía no, es que, o sea, lo estoy pensando.
¿Conoces de la protección que tienen ustedes respecto al cáncer y a la diabetes?
Como le dije que las hormonas de crecimiento no se desarrollaban con normalidad, así mismo es con las células cancerinas, o sea, las que producen el cáncer, tampoco se desarrollan normalmente. Entonces esa es la posibilidad de que, o sea, seamos inmunes a eso y a la diabetes igual.
¿Qué opinas de que en tu sangre pueda haber la posibilidad de que ayudes a salvar al mundo de estas enfermedades?
Si es que fuera así, pues bueno, sería bueno, se ayudaría a las personas, porque, o sea, es una enfermedad que mata a mucha gente y si es que fuera así, estuviera, no sé, si pudiera la donara o ayudaría a las demás personas.
¿Tú sientes que tienes alguna misión con esto?
No sé, es que hasta el momento como que, o sea, no conozco mucho acerca de eso. Lo que le podría hablar sería, creo que el doctor, porque él tiene más conocimiento.
Well, we already have a lot of results, but if you're talking about therapeutical measures that can be implemented, we have developed a small molecule that, in a sense, blocks the growth hormone receptor and produces the same effects of Laron syndrome, but in healthy people. And there's also, at this moment, there are drugs that can do that, drugs that can be used by injection. But this is a long process. What we are doing is we are just giving some steps for everybody else in the world to develop measures for cancer. I would say that these short people, these people with Laron syndrome, have given a lot of information to the world. I think the big amount of knowledge that we are learning from these people, in my opinion, is helping immensely mankind. That's my view.